new here, my name is Anna. I am a 21-year-old living with Cerebral Palsy, and I upload every Monday and Wednesday all about my life with Cerebral Palsy and severity awareness in general. In today's video, I thought it would be kind of a good idea, and it was requested by one of my followers that I talk about my anxiety and how I manage it. With a little disclaimer, I am not diagnosed with any anxiety by a doctor, so I just want to put that out there with my personal experience and everything like that. And this is my dad, if you are new here and have no idea who the hell this random dude is. And this is my dog, Winnie.
There's Winnie.
So, yeah, Dad, you want to talk about your experience about parent before I talk about my own
Just general stuff?
Yeah, what you noticed.
Yeah, I think it's been like ever since Anna was little, there have been certain things that really got her freaked out. One was police and fire, like sirens, police pulling us over, things like that. You were always really wigged out about that. I never quite understood why. Shots at the Met doctor, good God help us. It was like a nightmare. Even till very recently, it was like a complete nightmare leading up to getting a shot. And not necessarily rational, just, people are afraid of it and you can't stop yourself from being afraid of it. So she has those kinds of things. And then I know you'll talk about flying. That became a big issue because she hasn't done that in a long time, any airline flights since she was little. So she built up a lot of fear about that. Yeah. And then, but generally, I mean, you don't have like day to day as much anxiety. You just, but there's certain things that just throw you over the edge.
Right.
Yeah.
So the topic that I'm going to address in this video, and I'm going to do my best to put timestamps into the
timestamps.
Yeah. I don't know how in the hell YouTube will do that. I don't know. But the topic I'm going to be talking about are travel anxiety, medical anxiety, and I wouldn't say social anxiety, but how I meant when hanging out with him, or not hanging out with them, but before they arrive.
Leading up to it.
Yep. So, and I want to address some of my anxiety.
When he's out.
Bye!
He's like, I quit. Unsubscribe. Winnie unsubscribed.
And I thought I would address some of my anxiety that I know.
Symptoms? Yeah.
And some of those are my meltdowns. To the point where I don't, or I physically can't know in my head if that makes any sense. My doctor's appointment.
Yeah, like cry, scream, fall apart. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or on planes, or literally anything, or taking my mind takes over, and nothing to help me with that. Another thing is my very upset stomach. I'm in a very, I feel like I'm either going to vomit or have bowel movement. And nothing ever actually comes out, but I'm at the toilet and all of that. Before leading up to
whatever it is.
Whatever it is. So those are my anxiety symptoms. And it doesn't happen while I'm there. It's leading up to it.
Except like the doctor's shots, you were there and you're just freaking out. before you miraculously overcame it completely, which
Hey, you COVID, I think.
COVID. You'll talk about that, right?
Yeah. When I'm hanging out, or when I make plans to do something with him, I haven't about figured out why this happened, because I know these people have anywhere from my 2 years to 7 years. So I don't really know why this happened, but I think when you are disabled, you require a certain level of expertise, even if you can tell the person, hey, you do this, and you do this, and that's how we happen.
To take care of you, to kind of get you to do things, yeah. How do they support you?
But it's still a nerve-wracking experience because there is it's not your family doing it, it's not the people that you grew up with for 21 years,
So do you think the anxiety with friends coming over, and it's not all friends all the time, but when it does happen, do you think it's a fear that they might not be able to do the right things to support you physically? Or do you think you're worried, or is it more worry about what are you going to talk about, what are you going to do, and could something go wrong and be weird?
Something can go wrong, and
but with supporting you.
Yeah.
So it's more about your disability and will they be able to do the right things?
Right. It's not about
will you fall or will they? Okay.
It's not about authentic at all. I'm or my hand unconditionally. I can talk to them every day on the phone without any problem. They will tell you that.
And talk.
Yeah, but
no problem.
But when we're out, I'll constantly say, "You got it, don't drop me. You got it, my walker, on that stuff."
Like you hit a bump on the sidewalk here. Are they holding it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it is.
Constantly have in for my own mental sanity. I will repeatedly ask my thing. And so what helped me is to plan with that type of anxiety is to plan out everything.
Plan it out.
Plan out where we're going, what vehicle we're taking, what time, who's coming, backup plan, what equipment we're using, all that stuff.
Does it help that you know that you're going a place that you're familiar with? Or it was an unknown place spook you or not?
No, I have to know where we can't do. It depends who it is. Sometimes I'm we'll decide on the day,
Yeah.
But it manually thinking most of the time I make a plan.
Yeah, and that planning helps you reduce the unknowns.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
So that's what I do, and if I'm meeting a new person, a new friend, I will start by hanging out with them in the house first. That's not much in the one in the house, and then when we go out places for the first time, I will usually ask another friend of mine to come with. Kind of my supervising situation. Not all the time, but sometimes. But when I put that in there to anyone who needs it, the next topic is what type of anxiety would have to be travel anxiety. Now, a middle disabled, I don't have anxiety going in halls.
In what?
Halls.
Cars.
Yep.
Right.
When we drive.
Car travel is not a problem.
And that's even one of the really annoying hearing that remember that, Dad?
The hearing accessible hotel room incident?
Yeah.
Yep, that was funny.
If you want a funny time, let us know.
I kind of remember. I'm
Really
trying to remember.
funny.
It was a hearing accessible room where, well, no, it was just an accessible room, and they had a button you push.
And that might one of the doorbell.
It looked like a doorbell.
That you met on a random hotel room.
But it really made this huge, incredibly loud alarm go off, right?
Yeah, made a higher amount of sound.
And it didn't stop for some reason, and we had to. It was weird. I can't remember why it actually was there.
Yeah.
Was it for somebody, like a panic button for somebody to push? And
No, it was how people would.
Yeah, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
What is he doing?
Don't worry.
But,
Anyway, whatever it was,
yeah, it was.
I was
like,
probably my fault that I pushed the button.
Yeah.
I pushed the button accidentally.
And I was
And Anna just
alone in the room.
went nuclear because it was so loud. And I think the light was flashing too, and it was just like a complete like push button to melt daughter down, it should say on the little sign, because it was unbelievable. But anyway, so other than that, other than the hotel button accessible room incident, there haven't been any. You don't have no problems with hotels, car travel, blah blah blah, right?
Right.
So it's all about air travel, which you got. I think there was so much buildup because you haven't flown in so many years.
Yeah.
And the idea of, and with COVID and with all the TSA stuff going on, the searching, the pat downs, and then I think you said when you read postings from disabled people about their nightmares at TSA, those are like, oh my gosh, that sounds horrible.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas I was telling Anna, sorry to babble, but I was telling Anna, that's the bad thing about some of these stories is people only post if they have a bad experience. They typically aren't posting to say, hey, everything went great at TSA.
Right.
So all you tend to read is the horrible horror stories, whereas a lot of times you get through with no problem at all. So Anna was leading up to this trip with her brother, first time she's flown in a long time. And it was without us, it was with her, just her and her brother. And so you can tell them like what you thought going up to that, leading up to that.
I was really nervous. I thought the worst thing was gonna happen. I thought I wanted to survive. I was probably gonna die. But seriously, the morning up, I had a massive anxiety problem.
Anxiety attack. Panic attack. It was pretty bad.
I didn't sleep that night very much.
Yeah.
And I was very tired and very depressed.
And you're like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not going.
Yeah,
and we had to get up to the plane, and we were on a timeline, and it was so fun. Thank you for that.
Yep, the vlog for that trip will be down below. I talk more about the things that I dealt with in that video, but very briefly, now you know what I did. I was literally came in and signed that morning. I didn't know, even though I signed up for the disabled TSA program, which I had in my travel log, don't recommend it.
You know?
If you,
Why?
they never showed up.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But you went through the expedited kind of
right. Everyone knows. Everyone does that.
Oh, you went through the normal line?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you went through the express line.
No, everyone that has.
If you're disabled, you go kind of straight to the.
But
so it was.
No, but the program didn't do it bad.
Didn't help.
And I have a whole section in my travel log. So they'll test it out. But I know they have trained in to help with anxiety. I would recommend that if you're in an airport that has that and is reliable about that, then go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that would have to be planning that trip, so you have a reason to go down now. So my main reason was obviously missing the knee.
That's her brother and sister, future sister-in-law.
If you've been on the channel, we've seen our video all about them getting married and stuff like that. But another reason that I went down there is one of my best friends. And seeing him really helped with my anxiety, and having something to look forward to it helped her as well. And that's about it for the.
Yep. Well, I mean, unless you have anything to add about just what you thought was, how you thought it would be versus how it actually was. When you actually got to that moment where you're going through security, were you still freaking out at that point? Even before security?
No.
You just had put out, somehow got over it?
Right.
I wonder how that is.
I had nothing hard to happen.
I thought you were, once you got through security, you're like, oh, thank God. But you actually were kind of okay before it?
Well, I'm at the airport and realized that I literally had no option.
Oh, so it was you weren't turning back.
Yeah.
So then there's no reason to flip out.
Right.
Okay. And then once you got through security, it was like it was nothing, right?
Right.
They didn't pat you down and box you up and ship you to Siberia or whatever you thought they were going to do.
We all know that airports are terrible with medical equipment, so I know the amount of anxiety for
what's going to happen to my stuff?
Me and everyone else in the universe. So take apart your equipment, any breakable part I would recommend taking off.
Yeah.
That'll help your anxiety about.
Yep. So that's about it on that one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then the last one, very important one, we hear a lot about the human community would have to be medical anxiety. So, anxiety about doctor appointment, procedure, therapy, whatever. Anything medical related. So I'm gonna let Dad talk about that.
Yeah.
We talked about it before in a video, but we're gonna touch on it here.
Yeah. And I'm not an expert at this. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into it, but I think kids that grow up having to go to the doctor a lot, which Anna was certainly one of those, and had a lot
Not because I'm unhealthy, but because of my disability.
Yeah, because of cerebral palsy. She had in her first 4 or 5 years, she had multiple surgeries on her. Let's see, you had your spine,
hip,
your eyes.
Hip.
You eventually had the hip thing. You had something on your legs. Right? Oh yeah, that was that's gruesome. I don't want to talk about that. But I think kids that have to go a lot to the doctor, and even that gives me the willies. But I think when you're little and you have to go often, and usually when you go, something happens that's not very pleasant. You just develop. It seems so natural. You develop a real aversion to that, and even later on as you're going and there's not terrible things every time, it might be next to nothing, might be some physical therapy or nothing, you still have that feeling like that doctor means bad news. And I think that that's unavoidable to a degree, and but it's good to be aware of it and be aware of why you have that fear and try to think back, and because as an adult, as you get older, you start to get some perspective and some space to think about why it is you feel that way. And sometimes it's hard to be rational about it and have that push aside all of the fears that were built up over the years, but you can. And I think you've gotten, Anna's, gone a long way toward escaping that.
And that is much better. Much
better, yeah, because really I think getting shots was the last thing that you were really afraid of. It seems like the doctor didn't. Did the doctor still bother you going? Does it still bother you today? Like if we say, you got to go for a doctor's appointment?
Well, my dentist appointment.
Dentist, everyone loves those. That's hard.
I'm okay with that, but now I'm worried about my wisdom teeth. But we'll talk that more.
Yeah. And that, I think, no matter who you are, that's nobody looks forward to that, and for good reason. It's not a lot of fun, but I think that just the general going to the doctor,
right.
Whether something happens or not, that they prescribe some new thing, just if you're afraid, just in general, it's something hopefully you can get some distance from over time, right, as you get some perspective. And then the shots do you want to talk about that or not?
Some reason disappeared after COVID. Why?
Yeah.
Because I knew that if I wanted to see my best friends, I needed toys. I could see them, but from a distance and only outside and only with masks on, and I'm sorry. I might see faces.
Got a little tired of that.
And I might hug people. I'm not. And I might have a lot of fun. And so I knew that if I wanted to do all those things, I needed to get vaccinated. Otherwise, I would literally be isolated from them. And I'm already isolated as it is. Purely because I'm disabled. So it doesn't matter. So I didn't want to be even more isolated. So I got the vaccination, and that was that.
And something about the fact that vaccination she actually wanted. I mean, other vaccinations are important, and you have to have them, and you should have them, but they're not such an immediate. If I have this, then something good will happen. In this case, you knew if you had those shots, you'd be able to spend more time closer to your friends, and that was so motivating that for some reason, your fear just melted away, and it was weird because it's been years in the making, and she would have a huge problem both before and during doctor's offices just to get one shot. That was like a huge deal.
Right.
And then you went in for COVID,
Right.
sat there, got the shot, didn't cry, right? Nothing.
No.
And now you could go in for inoculate any kind of shot. You wouldn't really care that much, right?
Right.
So for some reason that maybe it's because you're just grown up, and partly that, and partly the fact that you actually went and got a shot voluntarily that you wanted for a specific reason, and you were able to keep your mind on the prize, on the reward,
Right.
and you just so now it's gone. So once again, I think those things can stay with you for a long time, but they can also go away, and just knowing that is probably helpful to some people, just knowing that it doesn't have to be there all the time if you can get some perspective on it and try to put it in its place. So
Right.
that's about all I got on that.
Yeah. So if you guys want to see my investment with them, how my Instagram right here. But I hope this video will help some of you. If it was, like this video, subscribe if you're new here, check out my other video, how my other social media, and comment down below if you have any more.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Support Ukraine. We're big supporters of Ukraine. I hope you guys will support Ukraine. That's where Anna's from.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time this video something good will happen.
Hopefully something good will happen. So
Over there.
we're thinking about him over there.
But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, comment down below if you have any more questions. I will try and answer them, or have Dad help me.